This is my story about meeting God from someone who's never really believed in God, but more science minded and less religious. And it happened. And it's real. And this is my story. So it's late. It's like 1 o'clock. But the craziest thing happened to me while I'm sitting here contemplating doing a video about telling my story about how I met God. And I'm not the guy that is religious to the point of really even knowing what I believe or how to believe or what faith even is as far as encompassing. And I've just been on my own little strange view of what it is in faith, and I have been curious about it, but it stemmed off of probably the worst experience of my life, but also could turn into be the best. When my daughter, my youngest, was in the hospital, she was 7, about to be 8 weeks old, and she had RSV, and she was intubated and was on probably her third night of being intubated, and was in bad shape to the point where she had crashed while intubated, still crashing twice in one night, to the point where being in medicine, doing, I can't say more dangerous stuff. I've done neurosurgery for many years, so being on the life or death side of things, knowing the look of when you're almost out of options and you're like, don't think there's anything else you can do. I felt that, so I know what it feels like and I know what it looks like. And I saw that in the eyes of a 30-year pediatric intensivist that night. And I was scared. I don't get scared often, but that night that was it. It's the most scared I've ever been. And I went to sleep finally after probably like 3:30 in the morning, and maybe for like a couple hours, 2 hours, 3 hours maybe. Got up the next morning and she's still hanging on, but I just need to get out. So I went outside and I walked outside the hospital for a little bit, and I went outside and I was just, man, I don't know if I had said a prayer or what, if I did. I don't pray much. Like, I'm not the one to pray. I would pray like I would talk to my grandma. I would talk to her kind of almost like she was God, like to look out for me. Like, I would do stuff like that, but I would never I would say God sometimes in prayer. And but that day when I was outside, I just was walking. I just felt like the cliche of you feel like time stands still. And you hear that, and I've heard that a ton, but that day, it literally felt like nothing else was going on, like in the world, right in front of me, in my head. It was just like complete, like stop, like halt of all thoughts. And that's someone like me with like ADD, like thoughts running through my head all the time. Like I can't stop my thoughts. Like it's just go, go, go. Squirrel here, there, back, all over the place. But it was like nothing. And it literally like scared me. Like that scared me again. I'm like, well, like getting that wave, like what the hell is this? Like why? I couldn't even think of my daughter. I couldn't even think of the situation. It was like everything was non-existent. And I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know if that was just the sadness, like the depths of like the bottom, like what's happened. Like I didn't know. So I went back inside eventually, and I passed the little cathedral. Like they have those little built-in little church cathedrals or whatever you want to call them in the hospital. And I'd worked at that hospital for years, many years before that, but I worked there for a long time. Every time I passed through it, nothing, not an ounce of anything, emotional, anything, I don't know. I'd be like, why do they even have that here? No one even goes in there. I never even saw anybody use it. Maybe like once or twice in the years I worked there did I ever even see anybody in there. And I walked by and I had this like pull, like kind of like asking me to go in there. And it was very weird. Again, I'm just like, what, okay, like this is strange, but let me just see if the door's even open. So I checked and I was like, I'll go in there. And I go in there and just kind of sat, like I went in, I was like, all right, I've never even been in here, and looked around. Smaller room, like the size of a big master bedroom, with some pews and the cross and stained glass, no actual windows, but I was confused. Like I didn't know what to do when I got in there. I walked in there, I was kind of like, okay, like, what am I supposed to do? I guess I'm supposed to sit down. So I sat down, and I was like, all right, well, let's have a little conversation, or let's try and pray. Like, so I said some prayers, and a couple tears came out, and I cried, and I was just, that's all different. None of that's ever happened to me before. And I'm still like kind of just blaming on the situation, because I'm not the religious guy. I'm just blaming on that. And even so, I leave, go back up to the room, and later that day, like it was the fourth day, and she started that night. She started to like turn the corner from where she was. And then within like within about 24 hours, they had taken her off the vent. And still, I was still just back in my science mind, like, she just got better. Like, something happened, she got better. And here it is. What? Almost 2 years later. And I'm finally acknowledging the fact that that was a miracle. My wife had said that she prayed that night too. And she felt an overwhelming like power. And she felt his presence. She felt God that night. And I, told her my story, but I was still skeptic. Like, that's just in my blood to be skeptic. And I talked to a friend of mine last night, Ryan Hawk, about this. We're not best friends from college, and he's more religious than I am, and I haven't told hardly anybody the story. Like, I told him, and he broke it down, like, in detail, like, to what the phases of what I was feeling and what it was, and how it really was a miracle, and how it was the common way that people feel the presence. I could never really, the term gets watered down for me, the miracle term, when you're doing stuff like neurosurgery for years, and everybody uses the term like, oh, you know, it was a miracle. You guys saved her. It was a miracle. It was a miracle. Him, like, this surgery was, God did this, God did that. And I was kind of always just like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you'd say miracle. We just did the surgeries like that we're there to do. Like, so the terms miracle got kind of washed out with me through the profession. But last night was the first time it ever hit me. Like, it was a miracle. She's a miracle. That day was a miracle. That moment of feeling nothing, peace, calm, in the face of the worst moment of my life, thinking my daughter was literally dying. And I felt that, and I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I thought something was wrong with me, because I had this wave of calm, peace, like tranquility over my body, to the point where I was just like questioning myself. And that was him just trying to calm me down. And tell me it was going to be all right. But I didn't know that. And tonight, before doing this video, thinking I wanted to do this video, feeling it, I got the same feeling. Hadn't had that feeling in almost 2 years since then. I just kind of laughed. Just kind of like, that's not me. I'm not. I can't stop the thoughts in my head like nonstop. But I guess he can when he wants me to focus on him. And it's so weird for me. It's so weird. It's weird, but it's good. And I know there's a lot of science-minded people out there like myself that struggle to have faith, or people in general. And I don't wish that kind of moment on anybody that had to occur to get me. Didn't really even get me to see it then. Kind of, maybe. But I still didn't believe it. But I believe it now. I hope it stays around. It's a good feeling. It's peaceful. But I just wanted to put that out there. I hope somebody can relate it and put it towards something you felt, you've dealt with, and you've seen, but you didn't believe it. And that's my cliche in my own going back to high school, is I don't believe it. Because I don't believe anything. But I believe it. And I want to thank Ryan for helping me see that, and my wife for being there and talking her way through it. Even if she knows I didn't believe it. I'm always open to hearing about stuff. And I kind of wished I could believe it. For a while, I was like, see people that are so happy or high on God and stuff, and I would hear that and be like, I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Like, I feel like there's just something people say, or I think I get it. Which is so wild. Hearing myself say these things is so different. But I'm cool with that. Anyway, I'll take it easy.